Hello there. So for this week's podcast, we're actually in a camper van in the pouring rain with two of my dogs. This is my friend Jules, and we're going to talk about fibro. So if you can hear rain, this is why, but we've been meaning to do this podcast for ages. And I never managed to pin Jules down. So we've been at an event. So I was like, right, this is what we're doing. So from my point of view, because someone has had chronic pain and then as an emergency medicine doctor, I think fibro is one of the most frustrating things for a doctor to deal with, because we can't do an awful lot in the emergency department to help. You know, we give people pain relief, but it's quite an unsatisfactory, I think, result for a lot of people, because we're not really getting to the nitty gritty. So Jules is going to talk about some of the things that really helps her, and we'll have a bit of a chat about it. So hello, Jules.
Hello.
So tell me a bit about your sort of challenges with fibro.
I've had fibro diagnosed many years ago, and thought it kind of might be that magical answer. Unfortunately, it wasn't, and as Helen said, that the medication isn't particularly beneficial. So therefore, it was a case of try, see how you get on. And I think there is the frustration that actually, why am I in pain? And you can't get to the root cause of it. Then the traditional painkillers don't work. The medication that I found actually left me feeling pretty numb, generally, sort of emotionally and physically, and decided to come off it. But then obviously had to try and manage, which I do through exercise, but I go through periods where the pain is so significant that I can't actually do that anymore. So it's very much a case of trying to manage it naturally, whether that's through diet and products that I use, or whether it's sort of going back down the more traditional route. So I kind of made quite a lot of changes, and then came across essential oils, which have been absolutely amazing, and certainly help for 99% of the time. So it keeps me active, it keeps me moving, which is really good.
And Jules is very, very active, because just to give you a bit of history about Jules, I think you've literally lost half your body weight, haven't you?
Yes.
Literally.
Almost.
And we did a video. Do you remember we did this video last year? And Jules was like, I was hiding behind her, and when we actually looked at it back, Jules was like, I can't believe you can't actually see you in the video.
No,
because I was just literally. So and Jules does Canicross. She's Canicross coach as well. So what helps you if you had to give a typical day? What do you use on a typical day to help keep you comfortable and ticking on? And
so I do use some a few different products. I always start the day off with lemongrass. That's absolutely amazing.
How do you use that?
So I tend to use that up and down my spine.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to have an ongoing sort of nerve sensation next to my spine. I do have a side tissue there as well with nerve damage. So that sort of seems to be where it's weaker. So I tend to roll it up and down. I've got a roller. So that's pre-mixed then with fractionated coconut oil. And I find that's really, really beneficial. But also the smell is absolutely amazing as well. So it kind of is a bit of a pet-me-up to start the day off. I also use topical lotion that really helps. So that's fantastic.
Is that one that's essential oil based as well?
It is essential oil based. And it smells fantastic.
That's the one with wintergreen, and it's got helichrysum and everything. It's lovely.
Yeah, it's got a really good strong blend of oils in it.
I'm using that on my knees at the moment.
And it goes such a long way. I don't need lots of it.
Yeah.
But what I find then is I get either a very strange cooling sensation or also a warming sensation. It depends on the day. And sometimes I forget that I put it on, and I'll be out running and go, oh, why does my back feel suddenly
to me as well.
really cold or really warm? I'm thinking, what's going on?
Yeah.
And it's actually kicking in again when you need it.
Because when it gets activated by your sweat, basically.
Yeah.
And so you can get this really lovely sensation, and you're like, oh,
it's absolutely fantastic.
It's really nice. Yeah.
I also use frankincense and opaiba. I tend to use those topically, so I have to make sure that the oils are really, really pure that I'm using. Not topically, internally as well. So I can put those under the tongue. I do use them topically as well when I need to. And once you get used to the taste, it's actually not too bad.
Oh no, not. I put them in. Do you put them in a veggie cap or just take them?
No, I actually put them just under my tongue.
Oh my God, you're mental. I use them in a veggie cap.
I find it's a bit more effective for me because it seems to get into the system quicker.
Yeah, it's true.
But I also use veggie caps as well when I need to, because some I can't actually bear. So then it's really a case of just keeping that motion and of going. So I do use sort of the same things most days.
We've got a bit of thunder. No, it's not. It's a trailer. It's a trailer.
So yeah, I do use the same things most days. It's kind of part of my normal protocol and the daily things. But then I also up things as well. So that I do have some frankincense capsules as well that I can use if necessary.
They're nice, the ones with boswellic acid.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've also got a stick.
Yeah.
That's really good.
That's really nice as well.
So very similar to the other sticks that I've used. So it doesn't leave a greasy feeling. It soaks in really quickly. And again, I think the smell also helps, because with fibromyalgia, it's obviously nerve based, but also it's that sort of emotional feeling as well. So that the more stressed you are, the more you tend to find it affects you. Yeah. So actually feeling that calming sensation as well is really good. Things like using peppermint through inhalation throughout the day as well, if I'm just feeling a little bit stressed or just kind of want to chill out a little bit. Because
there's such an emotional component, isn't there, with pain? Because it's like, I mean, I've suffered with chronic pain with my legs for years, and I'm so much better now. But yeah, I mean, I did a 32-kilometre race yesterday, and the weather was appalling and it was awful. And I messaged you on the route, and was I crying? I can't remember.
I felt like I was crying
because it was just awful. My legs hadn't warmed up. I was just, I was in so much pain. And the thing is as well, you get upset about the pain, because I really, I'm running the Manchester Marathon. It's really important to me that I do this race because it's part of my marathon training. But I was in so much pain, and it makes you really distressed. And then the more distressed you are, the more you're getting in pain. And so, I messaged Jules, and so, so she could give me a pep talk, because there's such a huge emotional component, isn't there?
It's massive. And I think when you're in chronic pain as well, or you're really struggling with something, it's really, really easy to let the stress then become almost overwhelming, because there's very little you can do about it. I do find that having a positive mindset about it really, really helps, and it's not always possible. We're talking of, I can't even think now, probably 5-6 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, I couldn't have run for a bus. And I decided, I changed my mindset, said, okay, I don't want to be in this amount of pain. And it was really, really excruciating actually going through that process. At the time, I lost a lot of weight. I started doing things, I started running. And then I found Canicross. And actually, Canicross has got every component I need, because I don't like road running. And I'm a little bit sort of too driven by trying to beat my own scores and things, whereas Canicross is trail. And it means that I don't actually have to think about times and things. If I get a slower time, it doesn't matter. It's about the dogs, it's about having fun. And it's about being out in the natural environment, and that's what I thrive on. But I couldn't have done that before. So I think sometimes you've got to go through that little bit of pain, as long as you know that you're not doing any damage, to make sure that actually you can get beyond that. And now I had gone through a period of injury, and I've had a couple of surgeries and things.
Jules is like really accident prone.
I'm very accident prone. So I've had probably 18 months of not running. And when I was running, I'd go at it too quickly. I'd go at it too fast. I put a lot of weight back on. I've doubled in size virtually, because if I don't run and don't exercise, I know that it doesn't matter what I eat, it just goes on. So again, I've kind of had to really change my mindset. I went back through Couch to 5K. I've been really using the protocols consistently. And this time last year, I got severe chronic hip pain. That's just about, it tweaks occasionally, but it's just about gone. I've had all the scans, all the x-rays, know that it's nothing other than nerve pain. But I was really struggling to even walk properly last year. And come August, I said, right, that's it. This is my mindset now. I've got to lose the weight. I've got to get back out there. And I'm quite confidently running 10K plus at the moment. It's not necessarily fast. It's not necessarily ever going to win me anything. But what it does do is give me that mental health as well. And I think that is a huge component, because when I don't run, the same as you, Helen, I really feel it.
I think that's the thing. When I was in my 20s, so we're going back, 25, 30 years ago. I had such bad chronic pain, but I found, I hurt if I sat down. I couldn't go to the cinema. I had pain, and it actually hurt to run as much as it hurt to walk. So I just wanted to do more activities, because it made me feel better. And so for me, it was just like, well, it's hurting me to walk 100 meters. It's hurting the same to run 100 meters. So I will run, because that gives me a boost. And then of course you instead of doing in that downward spiral, you start that upward spiral, where that's that little bit of extra just makes a massive difference.
I think it does, and I think it's the preparation as well. Things like using massage blend before going out pre-warms the muscles. Also, again, The smell is incredible.
Really
It makes you feel
uplifting,
amazing.
really uplifting.
And I think then it's being prepared as well, that actually sometimes you are going to be in pain when you get home, when you do stop. And it's having that arsenal of things to hand, so that instead of sort of sitting down and going, you know what, this is going to be really painful, it's actually being really proactive in advance. You know, it's having the warm showers, the warm baths, whatever's going to help, but also massaging the muscles afterwards and making sure that that's consistent. So like yourself yesterday,
Epsom salt bath,
you know, it's getting
the
straight
oils,
on top of it.
with
So
the oils, I mean,
today it's very
literally,
different.
I couldn't walk when I got home, and because my knees were really bad, and I had an Epsom salt bath, so much better, you know. And they're so much better. I mean, last night when I woke up, I went to bed early, woke up, put that salve on, you know, the stick that we use, and during the night, and my knees are so much better. And they're still in pain, but they're nothing like they were yesterday. And I know a couple more days I'm going to be absolutely, because I literally was running for 4.5 hours yesterday, whereas I expected to be running for 3.5, but it was just, weather was so bad.
I think also, I mean, there's that challenge as well, as, you know, pushing yourself to get out whatever the weather, and being consistent, making sure that your training's there. Because obviously if you do it once and then you don't do it for weeks, it's different. But I say it's being prepared, and knowing that actually giving yourself a really sort of good opportunity for those few days following an event to actually use the products, and to use the oils, and to actually trust in them. Because not everything is going to be a quick fix.
No, you've got to take
it does take time, and actually it's your body telling you needs to recover.
And you can't fix. I think where people make the mistake of thinking that you can just wave a magic wand, you can't fix years of pain in just a week. You have to allow several weeks, several months, and get into a system, you know, and slowly you start to see improvements. Do you take the green smoothie supplement?
I do. I don't necessarily have it every day now. I do find that generally my diet's pretty balanced as well, but it's great because you get all the vitamins and you get all the goodness out of that. Also there's collagen, so a liquid, a dissolvable collagen, which is fabulous,
because that one's got like 9 different types, hasn't it? And it's got sort of all the energy cofactors as well, which is really good. And
I mean, I've used various things in the past, but this particular one is great because it's very bioavailable as well. Your body seems to need it and use it well. I mean, there's also things that you can take for electrolyte supplements.
Which well, I love those, because I take the green smoothie supplement. It's really, I mean, it tastes delicious, but I've found that has made such a difference, particularly on race days when I take it. And actually I realized as I speak to you, I didn't take it yesterday. I meant to, and I didn't take it. But it's actually been found with consistent use you can reduce inflammation over 6 weeks, which is huge. And so I haven't taken it today, so I need to take that, because that's been a huge part of my marathon training. And
it's very holistic as well.
And it's just because it's inflammation needs antioxidants to reduce it, and actually it's chock full of antioxidants. So it's just got such great, it's got like 75 different whole foods in it.
Definitely.
It's amazing.
There's also things like obviously the protein powders.
You've got to take your protein powder,
because you've got to remember that if you're putting your body under an undue amount of strain, even if you're training for it, that actually you need that time to recover. So I think people would think by taking a tablet or something it's going to be a quick fix. It might be, but actually what you're going to do is go out and do more damage. Your body needs to recover. So
you've got to do that really
sensibly. Actually, it's got to be sensible, and if you can support it in a really natural way, you're doing the best thing for your body as well. And certainly with fibromyalgia, it's got to be consistent. You never know what pain you're going to wake up with next, but I do find that my flare-ups are less, and when they are happening, it's usually because I've done too much and I'm absolutely physically and mentally exhausted. And then it's usually because I haven't given myself enough time. But what is happening now is that the duration is less and the intensity is less. So it's not that I can fix it, but what I can do is know it, I can embrace it, and I can support it. And know that I've got everything to hand that I need to, and actually not be stressing about the fact that, am I going to be in pain today? The random pains from toes to fingers to ears.
You and your Raynaud's as well. It's like she sends me pictures of blue hands, and it's like you've got that under control naturally as well.
It's my Smurf look.
Yeah, your Smurf look. But we've worked on a protocol.
Yeah, again, it's making sure that, you know, some people don't have the greatest health for whatever reason. We're dealt that kind of card, but actually not letting it get to you either. I could quite easily say, I'm never going outside, I'm not going to do these things. It's what I love, it's who I am.
Yeah.
And actually it's what I want to do full time as well.
Yeah.
So I've got to find a way of supporting it naturally, because otherwise I could let it consume me, and I'm not going to do that.
That's the thing. That's the thing, isn't it? It's because I think I never forget. I had this lovely patient a few years ago, and she'd been on so many different medications for chronic pain. And when I was taking her history, and I said, "Oh, what about medications?" And she said, "Oh, I'm not anything now." I said, "What do you mean?" And she said, "Well," she said, "to be honest, I was on all the morphine and everything, and I couldn't leave the house for 5 years. I was just on the sofa." And she said, my life was just shit. And so she'd looked at natural things, and she'd literally changed her whole life. And it didn't come overnight. It was gradual, but it was just gradual. And she wasn't on even any medication. She just used everything that was very natural. And it was just, and I've never forgotten her, because she was shocked, because she said, "I cannot believe because she was using crystals and everything. And she said, "I cannot believe I'm having a conversation with a doctor about it." I said, "No, but I love all this, because this is what really makes a difference, because it's just, you know, the medication's great, but actually it has so many other side effects, and you will always need something more."
Yes. And I certainly found that with HRT as well. I couldn't use HRT. It didn't agree with me in any way, shape or form. And I think with perimenopause, that made my symptoms a huge amount worse. But again, finding natural supplements that are proven to support women's health. Yeah. And I think, and obviously concerned about the bones and things. And again, I've got natural things that I use for that. But I was very mistrusting to start with. I didn't quite appreciate the fact that how well it would work. I thought I'll just give it a go and see. And finding the products that I just think has been amazing. Having, you know, phytoestrogens, having bone support has made a massive difference to my overall health as well. And I think whether perimenopause or not, I think women actually need to appreciate the fact that our bodies go through an awful lot, and that there is the support out there. And it is natural products. I think there's so many things on the market that are thrown at us that don't necessarily.
You've got to use good quality products, and there's a lot of, you know, I mean, the essential oils that we both use, they are used by vets and doctors. You know, they are, because they are just that good quality. They're used in clinical trials, and unfortunately it's one of those things where if you pay peanuts you get monkeys. Yes. You know,
I think people always ask me about the cost of things, and if, you know, actually the cheapest products are the best. Well, actually no, they're not. Yes, you can pick up things very cheaply, but actually the efficacy isn't there. Yeah. And actually you don't know what you're using either. I think I've learned to appreciate the quality and the consistency to the point where all the testing and everything is proven.
Well, you know what you're getting in a bottle, because actually I had this thing where I got in touch with a company that sells dog stuff, dog herbs and things like that, and I was asking about what level of iodine was in their kelp and what level of omega-3 was in the supplement, and they said, "Oh, well, we can't tell you because it's a natural variation, it varies from batch to batch." But actually you can, if you actually are testing, and a lot of these companies aren't, and so you're buying all this stuff, but actually you don't know whether it's actually got therapeutic dosage in it. And this is what's really bad about the natural health industry, is actually you're thinking you're giving your dog the right amount of omega-3, but actually you may not be, because the companies are not testing their products, so you don't know what level is in it.
I think there's so many millions of pounds are spent on various supplements and things that actually have got no proven benefits because there is no testing. And I think that's what I was dubious about, I have to admit. It took me time, but actually I think time and time again I've proven, and it's not been rapid overnight changes, but if I've tracked my symptoms, suddenly 3-4 weeks later I'm seeing that marked change.
It's consistent use, isn't it?
Then if I stop it again, you can very suddenly feel, you know, within a couple of weeks you start to feel those symptoms returning. And like, what's happened? Because I've forgotten to use something, or I forgot to take it. It's not through lack of wanting to. It's just the fact that oh, it's worked, and then my brain doesn't go, I need to take it.
Yeah.
So I forget.
Yeah. Because you're feeling fine, aren't
and
you?
you
So
feel
you think,
fine.
oh, I don't need that anymore. And then you stop.
But it's not even an active thought of not needing it. I think you just forget to take it because you feel good. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I feel really kind of, and I'll speak to Helen, she's like, are you still using this or that? So, oh, actually, no, I've forgotten for the last few
do you remember, was it last year that the vegan supplements went out of date? And I was literally struggling, wasn't I, with my energy and everything? And I was thinking, oh my goodness, oh no, actually, was it the phytoestrogens? It was the phytoestrogens. And I was out, and I just was like, what is wrong with me and everything? And the minute they came back in stock, I just started using them again. And of course, I just started to feel better. And you don't realise sometimes what an impact something has while you're using it.
And sometimes people see from the outside.
Yeah.
I know, obviously, we chat a lot, and sometimes we sort of go to each other, actually, have you done this? Do we chat a lot,
Jules? Do we?
No, not at all. Messaging
on. my long, like, I literally will send the messages and go, well, I'm just waffling now for like 5 minutes. And I'm just like, but she puts me on, she can put me on like speed.
We do tend to notice changes in each other quite quickly. So if we can kind of go, actually, have you thought about this? And we're both obviously well and truly used to using the products, but we forget. And I think that's the thing, that actually sometimes with the dogs as well, we'll sort of say, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? Because sometimes it just takes an outside perspective. Yeah, well, that's it. That's like, I mean, I've got a membership, so that's part of what we do, is it's making sure that you've got that support, because even just sometimes you just need to bounce ideas off people, don't you? Just what are different things, and just sometimes like this, sort of ask any questions and things in the group. Is great.
She's only met her Auntie Jules today. She's happy.
She's amazing.
Auntie Jules. She's only had her.
She knows I'm a fellow Springer lover.
She does. She does. So where can people contact you, Jules? What are your details?
So I'm at Nose and Paws Active. So I've got a website, which is Nose and Paws Active, www.noseandpawsactive.co.uk. I'm also on Facebook. And I've got Canning Cross group and things on there, but I've also got a public group. So if you want to contact me at all, be it any of those, on Instagram, feel free to drop me messages.
I'll tag her details in the bottom of this as well. And there is a fibromyalgia and chronic pain class coming up as well. So I will put the details in the show notes. If the class doesn't show on the events thing, it's because you might be watching this in a month, in which case there won't be a class. But just let us know, because we always have recordings, or there will be more live versions coming up. So if there isn't a class listed, then do get in touch and we can send you the recording.
I think also we'll be looking at obviously adding more classes and things as well. But I think chronic pain is definitely one of my things that I'm passionate about, because I think you can help to support it. And I think, yes, it takes work. It's not a quick fix. But there are ways and means of actually being able to get on with your life. Well,
I mean, conventional medicine, and I say this as a doctor, it doesn't really help. No. Because we're just literally giving you something to stop the pain. But actually it's unsatisfactory, because you are going to need more in a month, or you're going to need a higher level of pain. And, you know, there is a point at which, and all these things have side effects, and there's a point at which, you know, it's going to impact on your lifestyle because of the medication that you're having to have.
I think this is it. And, you know, I know I've been to doctors numerous times about pain in the past, and you feel very frustrated. There's no answer. I think the doctors feel very frustrated.
It is. It's very frustrating.
But so often you go in and you think, actually, I'm in pain. I know this is real pain. It's not fibromyalgia pain. And don't get me wrong, fibromyalgia pain is real. Yeah. But this is, I'm talking injury pain, where I know I've done something. So often different. I've been looked at, my notes have been looked at, and then said, oh, well, it's just fibromyalgia pain.
Like, no.
And actually, I know the difference. Yes. I've spent many years working out the differences. And I don't necessarily jump at the first sign of pain. Yeah. I'm sort of work through things and think, no, this is getting worse. This is not getting better. A different type. It's not changed. And even to the point where I've injured myself. And I've had doctors turn around and say, oh, it's fine, it's just fibromyalgia. It's like, no, I've seriously done some ligament damage. Yeah, because you know the difference. And I think I get very frustrated, because I do understand. And, you know, when patients come in, and like, you know, it's listening to what they're saying, and it's like, you know, is this the same type of pain that you usually have? Yeah. No or yes, you know, and then you know where you're going. Do you need some imaging? Do you need something else? And, you know, so often people, just because you've had chronic pain, and, you know, I would consider myself in that category as well. People do disregard it. I mean, you know, I've had doctors prior to being a doctor where I was basically accused of making it up. You know, or they're just like, oh, well, you know, there's nothing you can do, just take painkillers. Well, that's not really the answer.
there's got to be, and that's what so frustrates me in my job, because I can't recommend some of these things to people because I'm not allowed. So it's when I'm in my work role,
it's very tricky. And I get why it's so difficult. And it is one of those mysterious illnesses that nobody really understands. It is lifelong. Nobody understands what triggers it and why it gets worse. But it's one of those things that you can work with. And I think medication can be the answer for some people, but it's not always. And actually, for fibromyalgia, it has little to no benefit in some cases.
And sometimes you just need to integrate. It might be that you use natural, and then for flares you have some pain, and then it doesn't have to be an either or.
Definitely not. And I think sometimes you can work out what the pain is. If painkillers work, generally it's not fibromyalgia pain. So you can kind of figure it out yourself as well. Which I think is a good thing, but definitely integrative approach.
That's the key.
With everything, it's knowing your body, not ignoring it, listening to it, and actually working together with medical professionals or aromatherapy specialists who can help.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, thanks, Jules. Any final words?
Absolutely none, really. I just think get in touch. If you've got any concerns, it can feel like it's a really long journey. And it can feel really lonely. And sometimes actually having somebody who will understand and listen is as important in the process. So get in touch and
come to the class.
Come to the class, definitely. I think it's going to be really exciting.
So that's it. Thank you very much, Jules. Right, we're going to go now. These spaniels, and we're getting very cold in the camper van.
Yeah.